so I went ahead with the conversation with her and told her exactly how I felt. And it was so uncomfortable, and I really wanted to just say, I'm so sorry. But because I was in this mindset of gratitude instead of apologies, I ended with, thank you. Thank you for letting me be so open and honest to ask for this and letting myself communicate this way. And she was just like, thank you for your honesty. And I'm going to talk with my husband and we'll see what's best. And she got back to me later today and said, yeah, everything's great. What the new price that you want, we agree to. And from that day on, we developed a friendship before, but it was great that after that day, it felt like our friendship was even stronger because clearly, like, there was an honesty between us where we could both be who we really are, say what we really feel without apologizing, but appreciating that in each other.
Thank you from my heart, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from my heart, from the bottom of my heart.
Stay connected to gratitude. Hit the follow button right now and join thousands of listeners tuning in each week. We're the Gratitude Seekers. Come join us. Hi, Gratitude Seekers, and welcome to a new episode of the Gratitude Podcast. Today, I have a wonderful guest for you, and she's got an amazing story that has inspired me personally, and I thought that it will inspire you as well, and I really hope that it will. Her name is Amanda. She is a teacher turned stay-at-home mom, proficient in sport fighting and diaper changing. Amanda has a background in education and child development, but now she's a stay-at-home mom with her children and writes about them during nap times, like it's the case right now, as I understand from her. She blogs at stayatHomePanda.com, and she contributes to numerous online publications like the Huffington Post, where I read this inspiring story that I was telling you about, and which led to this interview. So, Amanda, care to say a few words about yourself?
I just appreciate you having me here. And yes, that's exactly what I do. I spend all my time with my children and write about it all while they're sleeping.
That's so wonderful. I think that many women will be able to resonate with this.
Thank you.
And it's wonderful that you do this and you take care of your children as a main business. Yeah. So I absolutely loved your article, and I think it's very powerful, and your message regarding this is very powerful. Care to say a few words about it and how it got to be born, to be created?
Yes. Yeah, so the article is about how I replaced sorry with thank you when I'm talking, and how I came to do that was I was laying in bed one day, scrolling through Instagram, and I saw a post from somebody I don't even know, and it said something along the lines of switching or replacing sorry with thank you is very powerful. And I just thought, I'm going to try that. Consciously for 2 weeks, I'm just going to be very aware of the words I say. And anytime I go to say, sorry, so-and-so, I'm going to say thank you. For instance, sorry I'm being such a drag, I would say, thank you for listening to me. And just those little changes actually made a profound difference in not only the way I felt about myself, but my relationships. I noticed one day, my husband, he works a lot. He's a resident physician. But he told me, go shopping one day. And he said, so what, will you be home in 45 minutes, an hour? And I really took much longer than that. And when I got back to the car and I called him, I felt I was going to say, sorry I took so long. And instead I said, thank you so much for giving me the freedom to just go be by myself. And it felt like I was worthier in those words. And it also, to him, felt like he was appreciated more, And so I just wrote about all those changes, and it's really changed everything. And I feel like it's a lasting difference. Some rewiring.
This is amazing. Like, I didn't even imagine that you can actually use gratitude in this way, and I think it helps a lot with your self-esteem. Like, instead of focusing, oh, I'm so small, oh, I'm so not worthy, or something like that.
Such an inconvenience. Everything I do and need is an inconvenience, and it's changed that. Yeah,
exactly. And I think it's a brilliant way to use gratitude to shift from being I'm small, other people have to do things for me and I have to feel small, and I don't know, to actually being grateful for the fact that they are understanding, for the fact that they are listening, and I love the way you switched it also with the story you told us about your husband, and the fact that you did an inner change first, I think, as I understand.
Exactly. Yes.
And firstly you chose gratitude, you felt it, and you chose it instead of focusing, oh my God, it took so much longer.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is I feel like I was always apologizing before because I thought it was the polite thing to do. Sorry. It seems so polite, when really giving that gratitude is much kinder. People appreciate it because they don't need to excuse you. They don't need to say, oh, it's okay. Or, they just say, hey, you're welcome. Makes them feel more appreciated.
Exactly. And I love the fact that you take gratitude into practice. Like many people, like it's polite to say I'm sorry. It's also polite to say thank you. And yes, many people use thank you and they just say the words, but they don't feel it. Mm-hmm. And I think this is brilliant because you actually feel it first, and people can feel the difference.
Yes, I think you're right. And like you said, it's an inner working first,
Exactly.
And that's where the difference comes from. They can tell it, that it's coming from a place you really reached within, not just
yeah, I love it. And also, I love the story about asking for a raise from your friend. I love that also.
Yes, that was tricky.
Yeah, I'm sure. Can you say a few words about it?
Yes, I started watching a few children in my home, and for one particular woman, her daughter's 2 years old, and I was watching her, and well, I still do. And the price we agreed on was just very low, and it was my doing. I was the one that suggested that. And as time went on, I realized this isn't making much sense for me, And so I realized that I had to ask for a raise. I needed more money for what I was doing. And so I went ahead with the conversation with her and told her exactly how I felt. And it was so uncomfortable, and I really wanted to just say, I'm so sorry. But because I was in this mindset of gratitude instead of apologies, I end it with thank you. Thank you for letting me be so open and honest to ask for this and letting myself communicate this way. And she was just like, thank you for your honesty. And I'm going to talk with my husband and we'll see what's best. And she got back to me later today and said, yeah, everything's great. What the new price that you want, we agree to. And from that day on, we developed a friendship before, but it was great that after that day, it felt like our friendship was even stronger because clearly like there was an honesty between us where we could both be who we really are, say what we really feel without apologizing, but appreciating that in each other.
I think this is awesome. And the fact that you had the courage to do it. And what I love about this story is the fact that you, like in the past story, you made a conscious switch between feeling like you should be sorry for asking for more to feeling grateful about being able to do this, being able to be open. I think this puts you in a whole different position, and the other person feels it and they respect you more. This is interesting.
That is definitely a big thing I felt, is that I was not assuming the lower position in relationships. And that's not to say I was, being more powerful or anything like that. It was more about empowering myself and not being the small one, and not being bigger than anybody either, but just knowing my worth and not apologizing for that. That's exactly how I felt when I was asking for the raise. Like I wanted to apologize about knowing that I was worth more. And I was like, no, I can't, because I don't feel sorry for this. It's simply my truth. So instead, I'm going to say, thank you for letting me express my truth. And people do feel that. I think when you're very apologetic, people can take advantage of that too, or see you as, it definitely can be seen as a weakness, and it is.
Exactly. And it's wonderful that you get to have not necessarily a position of power where you dominate the other, but a position of power within yourself. Like
that's what it is.
Yeah, you know your worth. You're grateful for being able to express it. You're grateful you appreciate yourself, and in that way, you can communicate differently, and the other person feels that, and they appreciate you more. And it's beautiful. I didn't know how it continued, the story. The fact that you actually got to be even better friends, even though you did something that, if you would say, I'm sorry, I'm so small, she might have respected you less. And even if this is something that we don't do because we are bad human beings, but if we feel this in other people, that they are small and weak, and we have a tendency to dominate, to feel better about ourselves by doing something to the other person which is weaker. This is how we are as human beings. But when the other person is also at least equal, or she feels okay inside, we feel another kind of relationship. And this is beautiful that you managed to do.
It's a mutual respect,
Exactly.
It's like, oh, she's worthy of respect because she knows her worth.
Exactly. This is beautiful. So, Amanda, what I wanted to ask you is, do you have a definition of gratitude for yourself? Like, what does gratitude mean for you?
Oh, well, gratitude for me, it's funny because I've incorporated gratitude into my life so much in the past year or so, and it's really gotten me out of some very dark times. And at first I didn't really I was just trying to get out of these dark times. I didn't know what I was doing. And my practice of gratitude kind of took me out of the darkness. And so the definition of it for me is about, I just say thank you all the time aloud. And I don't really know to who, but to whoever is listening and responding, because to all those thank yous and appreciation, I do get a response. It's crazy. So definition is tricky, but it's kind of that interchange between myself and the universe of I appreciate whatever's coming my way, opportunities, health, happiness. And when I express that gratitude, it seems to invite more of it. And so I would say that gratitude's definitely like this ongoing dialogue and this gift exchange, where I'm grateful, which is a gift, and in turn, it gives me more. And it's just this beautiful ongoing transaction.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. I think that this is the beauty of having gratitude as a practice and as a constant in our life, because we get to appreciate the things that we already have, and other things that we appreciate come naturally. Yes. Because we are open to them.
Yes. And like I said, when I was using it to get me out of darkness, I was starting with nothing, because although I have so much to be grateful for, if you're in a dark time, sometimes it doesn't work to just say, oh, thank you for my kids, my house, yes, you can think of all these things you're grateful for, but if you're really suffering, sometimes that's, too big. But I would sit outside and I would just talk aloud, and I would say, thank you for being with me, like to whatever, higher source there is. Please be with me and thank you. And I really didn't feel that at first, but through saying it, it came to me, and it was the wildest thing. And it kind of made it where I wasn't so sure, but I did it anyway. And through the response that this gave me, it's really solidified my practice of it.
This is a great idea, actually. Because there are people that, for some people it works if they write it down. For other people it works if they, I don't know, if they draw something or they take a picture or something like this. And I think speaking it out loud works great for some people. So this is a great idea. I also do something like this, like whenever I can't think about a certain thing to be grateful about, just saying thank you several times, it brings me in the state, like my brain says, okay, you must be thankful for something. So, okay, I'm going to give you the feeling. Yes. And afterwards, things come.
Yes, it's very true. And I do something similar. Exactly. Just go outside and I'll just say, thank you. Thank you. And as soon as you say that, then yes, it's kind of, your brain then sees it, looks for it, because you're in that state.
Exactly. It's wonderful how this works, like magic.
It really is.
So beside this, do you do something specifically when it's not that easy to be grateful?
It's just my practice with it has been so powerful within the last year that even when I'm having a bad day or don't feel necessarily grateful, the thank yous just really work so well to bring me back to a place. And yes, it doesn't need to be necessarily a specific thing, but for everything, just for the experience of it all and the process of it all. And even when it is difficult, when I just go out. I usually just go out and lay in the grass and I say, thank you. And it just works like magic.
Yeah. And it's funny, the simple things, like you said, like lying in the grass, it's not something that people usually think of as happiness or as success or something like that. But sometimes if you're doing that and you're feeling grateful, you don't even think of, you feel so fulfilled somehow, and you don't even think about all kinds of worldly success that should make you happy, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's really changed for me a lot too recently. And another powerful thing about feeling the gratitude is inviting my children to do it with me, because this is usually a very private practice. When my little one naps, my older one will have his TV time, and he'll come out back sometimes and say, Mom, I want a sandwich. I want to get, and I'll just say, come here. And I'll tell him, lay with me. What are you thankful for? And the things that come out of his mouth too are very, very profound. And it's nice to share that with him. And, it keeps that feedback loop going,
That's wonderful. I think the best way to teach gratitude is to do gratitude yourself, and actually doing this with your son as well is awesome. And
yeah,
I think this will make a huge difference in his life, because gratitude is so much more important from my point of view. Of course, I'm a bit biased by this, but then I don't know, going to the best college in the world or having the highest paid job or things like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's my practice of gratitude has really made me feel that there is no failure too. When I don't succeed at something, I still feel grateful for the message of what I get out of that supposed failure, or the process, or because I love to write, and sometimes I'll spend 2 hours writing and I don't really produce anything that's worthy of sharing. And I say, thank you for that time to sit there with my own thoughts, even if it doesn't produce anything that I'm going to share with others or make money off of. You find that there is no failure with gratitude, because there's always something to be thankful for.
Exactly. And it helps you with building yourself from within, like your confidence. Like if you think, okay, this was a failure, and you start criticizing yourself, oh my God, how could I do this? 2 hours and I produce nothing, and you feel bad about yourself. And the next time you won't be better if you criticize yourself. But if you are grateful for the fact that you did this and you gave yourself the time to do this and you're okay with it, and you have compassion for yourself, you can build on that. The next time it might be something brilliant that will... Yes. But if you criticize, it's like, oh, maybe I should quit. Maybe I should not do this or something Absolutely. Like that. So that's actually destructive, not constructive. And I think gratitude helps with being constructive with your life. And we don't always succeed at what we do. I know myself also have had a lot of experiences when I wanted to succeed at something and I didn't. And it was so much better to feel the gratitude of what I actually managed to create and what actually was good in the situation. And that helped me go to the next level. Because in many situations, if we feel like we should succeed until, I don't know, a certain time, a certain date, and we don't do that, we get to be very harsh on ourselves, and we might actually quit something that we might actually succeed in time if we have patience and appreciate ourselves for the effort that we did.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
And that's why I was thinking, when you mentioned your son, if you could go back in time, like when you weren't grateful and it was very hard for you to be grateful, what would you tell your younger self about gratitude?
I would say that life isn't happening to you, it's responding to you, because that's the biggest change that gratitude has made in my life. I see that I'm creating this life, so, and I feel like when you're not grateful, it's you kind of feel powerless. You feel like a victim. Things are happening to you. And you realize with the right attitude, the right mentality, that you're creating your life. And definitely an attitude of gratitude makes the best one.
Yeah, exactly. What I also have seen in my experience, that even the successful people, like they're not happy all the time unless they choose to be, even if they have worldly success of some kind of or other. Even if you have money, like large sums of money, that doesn't lead directly to happiness, to being grateful. If you're not able to be grateful, it doesn't matter how many millions you have in your bank account, because that doesn't correlate directly with happiness.
Yes. Which is why you just need to be grateful for every part of the process,
Exactly.
Even with my writing, sometimes I get published places that excite me so much and I feel so accomplished, like I finally made it. And then after a few days of that, it goes away. That high doesn't stay with me, that sense of accomplishment. So the days when I toil by myself and don't share it with anybody, I'm still grateful that I'm doing what I love to do, even if it's not quote unquote successful,
Exactly, because life isn't like, it would be impossible to be like a success after another success, every time success, and every time at a higher level. Because if we, most of us listening to this, and me and you, have reached some kind of success one way or another. Mm-hmm. But we don't feel it's success anymore because we've reached it already. And it's like, okay, we're good.
And it comes from within, not that external, you're succeeding, somebody else telling you that you're good enough, when it comes from within. And that's definitely the lasting.
Exactly. And on this ladder of success, let's say, we have so many failures in the gap time, so-called failures. So if we are grateful for the journey from one success to another, this is the most important thing. Actually, we shouldn't wait for one point in time when we will be able to, okay, if I just reach this goal, then I will be happy, and then everything will fall into place and everything will be great. Well, it many things can change for the better, which is great always. But if you appreciate what you already have more, it's being there, you get to appreciate that even more. And if you don't appreciate the journey itself, when you get there, you can't appreciate it as well. So
that's true.
Yeah, at least this is there. Yeah, this was my experience in the past when I got to reach a certain level, or to find some kind of success, not huge success, but smaller ones. And I thought that, okay, everything will be great from then on, and like that. It took, like you said, it took a few days. It was beautiful, but afterwards, if I didn't get to feel grateful about the success that I already had, And the process of getting there, it was dry. It didn't make any sense emotionally. And this is how we live. We live through emotions, and this is the most important thing that we want to have in our lives. We want to have happiness, which is an emotion, gratitude, all kinds of joys and laughter. So these are the things that actually make us happy, and this is what we actually want. So beyond this practice that you told us about, do you do anything else consistently that helps you to be grateful? Or when you began this journey on gratitude, did you have some kind of practices that you did?
Mostly the daily kind of, I call it prayer, which is just focused on being grateful, saying thank you. I also, with my family, do journal writing, which is, sometimes more consistent than others, but as like a nighttime routine, we'll write in a journal together about the things we're grateful for. And it's just one of those things that really does seem to rewire the brain and the way you process and see things. And I think as a family, we benefit from that, coming together to be grateful and teaching our children how to live that way. Because like you said, I think it really is a good defense against failure and really good way to process life.
Exactly. And the funny thing about this exercise that you mentioned that you do before going to bed is the fact that many times many days are actually happy days, but we're so much into the action of doing things that we don't even realize that it was a beautiful day, that we actually had amazing meetings and amazing people in our day. And beautiful things have happened, but we didn't take the time to appreciate them, to see, oh my God, that was so beautiful. I ran into that friend. Oh my God.
Children too love to reflect on those things at the end of the day. Like they always want to go through the day and talk about the good things that happen and even the bad parts, because in talking about the bad parts, you can see how it was good too, and you kind of address some hang-ups you may have had during the day, but say, but we resolved it, or we got this out of it. And I always ask my children what they like about themselves before they go to bed. What did you do good? What are you good at? Kind of appreciating themselves. And, it's great because that's something I'm learning right along with them, to be thankful for myself and receive my own goodness, and to for that to not be narcissistic but healthy.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea of stating what you appreciate about yourself. This is wonderful.
And with my children, I tell them all the time, you don't need to be extraordinary at any one thing. It can be the simple things. Did you hug your brother today? And were you a kind person? And did you sing that song really well? You don't need to be the smartest or the fastest or the best at anything. It can be the ordinary things,
Wow. I think this is really powerful. I am just imagining how it should be for them, like instead of being criticized that they are not doing this, or they are not getting A's all the time, or I don't know, things like that, to appreciate the things that they are already doing that are good. I think this is really, really powerful. And
doing it together, I practice it with them, because I'm kind of leading them through it, but it affects the way I feel. Like I don't need to be the best, most impressive mother. Like, I don't need to be throwing amazing birthday parties. All I need to be doing is loving the way I do, and so, and teaching them to love themselves through the little things. I'm doing it too.
This is amazing. So, gratitude seekers, if you have kids, make sure you do this practice. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I think it's extremely helpful for your children. And this is a great tip. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, as a last question, do you have some people in your life that you are grateful for and that you would like to mention?
Well, my children and my husband mostly, because they're the people I practice this gratitude with every day, and the people I feel most blessed to be with. So that's Josh, Javin, and Asher. Thank you.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation and for being here with us. I think you've shared some amazing tips that I'm sure that will influence a lot of people in a very positive way. So thank you very much for being here and for sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Gratitude Seeker, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this interview. I really appreciate it. And if you could think of one person that would also benefit from it, share it with them. It might actually be the inspiration that they need to make their day or maybe even their life much better. Thank you so much once again. This has been Georgian Benta. Don't forget to keep seeking and spreading gratitude.